Are we live? Are we live? Let us know if we are live. Let us know if we're live because we want to talk about day 8 of Giants training camp. Because we have to talk about, hey, this was the second to last practice. We'll be at Quest Diagnostics before we head off to Detroit. So let us know if we're live. We're live. Everyone's saying we're live. How's everybody doing today? I'm Bobby Skinner here with Justin Penik talking about New York Giants training camp day 8. How are you?
Hey, Bobby Skinner. Sucks that we're winding down at Quest Diagnostics Training Center in the general vicinity of MetLife Stadium. It's like one of my favorite places to be in the entire world. So we are going to Detroit. Are you looking forward to being in a vehicle with me for a long period of time on Monday and then also Thursday?
We just have to figure out some type of show that me and you both have interest in to listen to. The time.
Did you watch Quarterback?
Well, not a like I'm talking about a podcast, not an actual show.
Oh, okay.
Just listen to 8 hours of talk, all the player profiles.
Nope,
and projections.
that's. I hate re-listening to old stuff.
Am I? Anyways,
You're good.
Evan Neal is in concussion protocol.
In a way, good news.
Well,
hope it's not a bad concussion.
Yeah, well, it's like obviously you don't want to see players get concussions, but when he leaves the field, you're like,
oh no.
Is this a serious injury where he's going to miss a long time?
Head,
is
shoulder,
this
knees, and toes.
A smaller injury where it's going to bother him and hold him back? So hope he gets better. It's unfortunate he's going to miss the Detroit practices with, like 99% sure he'll miss those Detroit practices. Could have used him going up against Aiden Hutchinson and some different type of blood. And he's someone who needs to play in preseason games. I would expect him to be a scratch for the first game at least.
I'm also at the point of camp where we're going to talk about this. This is going to be a major theme of this little recap. I'm really at the point of camp where I need to see some of these cats going up against somebody else because between Ashawn Robinson being out, it's like, oh, well, besides Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams has taken a rest day the last 2 days. So besides Dexter Lawrence, who's basically almost gone up against exclusively with John Michael Schmitz, like, okay, great. I'm glad Josh Azudu has locked down Jordan Riley. Jordan Riley is big and he's strong, but the depth and the quality of player that we're talking about after the Leonard Williams and the Ashawn Robinsons of the world, and not like Nacho doesn't offer much in the pass rush department either. So I need to see these cats to evaluate more. I need to see these cats go up against somebody different.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, John Michael Schmitz is like Dexter Lawrence just dominates. Yep. Bredesen, really the only guy he's lost to in one-on-ones has been Dexter Lawrence. But with Evan Neal, so I've been watching him for 8 practices now, and there's positives and negatives. The positives are he was getting embarrassed last camp, and that translated to the regular season. That's not happening now. Like, he is getting out of his stance. He's not like a fleet of foot like Andrew Thomas, but he's getting out of his stance. Yep. He's getting to his spots.
I'm going to challenge you to do something.
He's having some solid reps.
Don't compare Evan Neal to Andrew Thomas.
He's getting to his spots, and he's doing an all right job at that, but he's not like having like great reps. Like there was one really good one today versus Kayvon where Kayvon works inside, he punches it and shuts it down, right? But you're not seeing dominant reps. And you even see sometimes in these one-on-one reps, which again are made for the pass rushers, and you don't see this really in 11-on-11. 11-on-11, like the worst you see is a guy getting around the corner around 8 yards, which is a major improvement from last season. But you do see while he's getting to his spots, when a pass rusher throws like a little shimmy or like shows like, hey, I'm going to work inside, it kind of freezes him up and it gets his hands and feet a little out of whack. So I still think there's a lot more to go with Evan Neal, and there's been growth and it's been noticeable, but it's not year 2. Okay, we're heading towards the top of the league at our position level.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
We should hopefully be a solid right tackle to start the season.
Let me ask you this: you clone yourself and you remove all your memory of training camp and you go back to Florida and you tell Bobby Skinner, you're Bobby Skinner right now, and then you tell your clone, you describe how the camp that Evan Neal is having. Is the clone of Bobby Skinner happy or unhappy?
I mean, I have big expectations for Neal.
Okay.
So, yeah, am I happy that it's not the disaster that it was last year? Yeah. But I still, I didn't want Evan Neal drafted 7th overall to be a solid right tackle. I wanted him to. I want us to have the best tackle duo in the NFL. Like that is the goal of drafting Evan Neal. You know, when you drafting a guy like Evan Neal when you already have a starting left tackle is to make that to literally have the best tackle duo in the NFL. And that is my hope by the end of year 2 that that's like a conversation. May not be definitive, but that may be a conversation. So again, it looks better. Like he looks like he's going to be he'll be fine this year. You know, be some up some maybe have a bad game or two. So it's not like last year. So But I just have really high expectations for Evan Neal, and I don't want his bad rookie year to just throw those expectations away where we're thrilled with solid play. Like I'll be thrilled when I see really good play. Now we got to see live game reps, and that really matters. First tackles, one-on-ones are hard to judge these guys. And 11-on-11, he's doing a solid job. He's just not dominating, stopping guys at the corner. They're getting around the corner just deep in the pocket, and he's not like unbalanced or anything. I just want to see a little more.
People are really liking the clone question, by the way. That was a pretty wild.
If Bobby had a clone, question. He would be in prison. Giants future says.
But I'm in a little bit of a different spot with Evan Neal. Like I agree with you. Yeah, like top 10 pick. I expect great to good things out of him, not just okay. But I still am pretty shell shocked over last year and just how bad it was. And even average Evan Neal right tackle play is a huge improvement, and it opens up things dramatically for this offense. So I'm in a little bit of a different spot where I'm like, I know, hey, like I want more. Like you're the O-line guy. I want more out of my O-line. I want more out of this. One of two premium positions on the O-line with left tackle, right tackle. Obviously, all of them are important, but I'm still like at this point where. Yeah, I am really, really glad that Evan Neal, the things that he is showing in camp, like he did not show that last year in camp, and then also he didn't show it during the regular season too.
No, yeah, and that's why, hey, we got to that baseline of like, okay, we don't need to be panicked about it.
Let's keep going. Like so now we're at a point where it's like
let's keep getting better. The next step is to see it in live game reps.
Yeah.
So hopefully he is there for the second preseason game versus the Panthers. I don't expect him to happen versus Detroit. And
which sucks.
Yeah, at least the first game. If Dable goes by what he did last year, the first game is a series or two for the first team, or one, and then the second game is where they get close to a half, and then the third game the starters don't play. So, with that, we had talked about the swing tackle job being not good with Tyree Phillips. Tyree Phillips having a really bad camp. And it's insane the timing, because I was talking with Ed, who does some stuff with Big Blue Huddle. And I'm like, man, Parrott's looked pretty good, right? Matt Parrott's looked good. Like, he had good one-on-one reps against backups, whatever. And I'm like, man, I was like, I'm changing my opinion from Tyree Phillips being the swing tackle to I think Matt Parrott should be it. He's the most athletic of the group. He has the best frame for it, coming off of the a year removed, over a full year removed from the big injury he had in 2021. And then so when he goes in for Evan Neal, he looked good. Like, he had this rep on a draw play where he dominated Kayvon Thibodeaux. And we were in full pass today where he locks up he gets grip on Kayvon and drives him back, which you don't really see too much, especially from Matt Parrott. Matt Parrott, we've always known he's had the athleticism and the length to play. It's putting together, and I'm not sitting here proclaiming. But what I am proclaiming is that
Matt Parrott has looked better than Tyree Phillips.
Matt Parrott is my choice for swing tackle now. I've changed my opinion on that. I think Matt Parrott should be the swing tackle. And so we were talking about, like, I kind of think that, and then Neal goes down, and lo and behold, the Giants coaching staff believes that too, that Matt Parrott is the swing tackle for now.
Yeah, for sure. Which Parrott doesn't have the versatility that Tyree Phillips does. But Matt Parrott, I don't know. Like, Tyree Phillips left a football team, and he was somewhat of a high-ish draft pick for the Ravens, I'm pretty sure. Starter for a little bit, a tackle, then they moved him to guard and moved on from him because he didn't fit what they were doing. And, Matt Parrott's on his second team Tyree Phillips is on his second team for a reason. And, year 4 Matt Parrott contract year. Let's do it.
Yeah. And it's kind of, and funny note about the 2020 draft class. Obviously, Tim Thomas and McKinney did really good. Today we had our first 11-on-11 interception today, not counting the Jason Pinnock one because that play was clearly
2020 draft class.
It's, by the way, with the Pinnock interception, because sometimes may have been a sack and you talk about the play.
It was a sack.
That was a clear sack twice. They called it dead, and it wasn't like, well, DJ just pretended it wasn't. DJ literally goes like this. Like, he just throws it up because the play's dead.
Yep.
It was the last, like, it was a one-play drill.
Might as well Brett
practice.
Favre, like, just tossed it like this, like DJ could have done.
It was still
that.
a great play by or by Penik,
Penik.
but it was just like that wasn't real live play. So the first,
we didn't even actually talk about that on our post-practice stream the day that it happened, because I think we were both like, all right, that's a great catch.
yeah,
Penik,
we didn't even think of any, and then we look at the pictures and video afterwards,
and it's everybody's talking about this,
Yeah.
and we didn't talk about it.
It does look a lot cooler on video. I'll be honest with that.
2020 draft class.
But we had the first interception out of 11 on 11. Tyrod Taylor threw a ball. Cam Brown gets his hands on it, tips it up to Carter Coughlin. So it was like, okay, there's our back-to-back picks in the 2020 draft from the 6th and 7th round.
Oh, all making year 4. Is that rare? How many picks were in that class? And are they who is not here?
Chris Williamson was the first one to not make was the only one to not make the team originally.
Credit to us, we did not like him.
We didn't. TJ Brunson, who we didn't like, never played a real game for the Giants.
But there was a lot of picks in that draft class.
Tay Crowder, Shane Lemieux, those two.
Yeah.
And Matt Parrott, and then Thomas and McKinney.
I think that's pretty successful to have all those picks still here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was clearly the best draft class of Dave.
It was the best offseason
of Dave Gettleman.
If only Dave Gettleman did that like one or two other times.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. As bad as Dave Gettleman, I can't believe we're doing this on a training camp practice. As bad as Dave Gettleman was, if you just looked at if you looked at the 2020 offseason, that was an amazing offseason that they had from free agency. Like, they didn't go out and get the highest paid free agents. They got like that second tier who they ended up being the best free agents of that class. Yeah. And then that draft class that was actually a really solid 2020 offseason for Gettleman. We all like, oh, Joe Judge has changed things. I guess not.
Tay Crowder too, who should still be here. Anyway.
Yeah, honestly, Tay Crowder should be in camp right now.
Anyway.
Other notes on the offense. Bredesen started at left guard today, and we shouldn't beat around the bush. Now that they opened the door for him possibly working at right guard, he's the best interior offensive lineman consistently.
He has been.
Consistently. Like, there's no reason for us to not put our best interior offensive lineman in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So they've been doing the battles, and this is one of the longer ones and weirder ones because they've rotated essentially 4 different guys in different spots. Well, I guess Bredesen's the only one working in different spots, but 4 different guys. And guess what? And the one who is moving from spot to spot is probably the best one right now.
Yeah.
You know, so Bredesen should be starting on this team.
I agree.
If you want to put him on left guard over Azudu and keep Glowinski, I'm not even that mad about it if you don't think Azudu's ready. But he should not be a backup on this team week 1.
No, he's just shown to be too strong, balanced. Like, everything is working in unison right now, whether it's 1v1 or whether it's in team. The feet look really strong. The feet look fast. He's looking strong himself. You mentioned that 1v1 rep that he had against Dex, and that's the first time that Dex didn't look like he was just a grown man playing a boy's game. So Ben Bredesen has been the best interior offensive line for sure. Like, I feel very comfortable saying that at least one of those spots, whichever whether it be left guard, right guard, whichever one of the coaches decide that's where Ben Bredesen's going to play, he should be starting week 1.
Let's talk about team drills 11 on 11. They did red zone drills today. I had Daniel Jones at 6 for 9 with 3 touchdowns to Daniel Bellinger, Darius Slayton, and Saquon Barkley. The Saquon Barkley one was on a rub route. I actually thought out of all the plays, that 6 completions that Daniel Jones had, the best one was, and they put a clip out the Giants on 4th down of, they're showing that zero look. They put Paris Campbell on a slant, and Darnay Holmes got beat, who's working with the first team.
It's tough.
But Darnay Holmes dives for the ball. We've seen Darnay make some diving plays, especially in practices before, and Jones just put the ball right on Campbell, and they converted a 4th down because they ran it on 1st and 2nd, and then gained 5 yards on the 3rd, and then converted the 4th down.
Yeah.
So that was really nice to see from DJ and Paris Campbell. Slayton had a touchdown, and he was wide. I
think that was the second read by Jones, so I don't think that was his first progression. I saw him kind of eyes were looking, so that was cool to see.
Yeah, found Slayton for a touchdown over Adoree Jackson. And NYG Daily quote tweeted me, and I agreed with him, where he's like, we've gotten so lost in the Darren Waller and Jalen Hyatt sauce that Slayton is having a really nice camp.
Where is he in receptions?
Yeah, let's see. Yesterday he was, today he had only 1 catch. It was a touchdown. And so Waller has 14 catches through camp. Slayton has 13. Now, Waller did take an entire 11 team period off, but like Slayton is still the clear leader in that department. So he's having a really good camp. And we talk about like, oh, well, this guy's going up against a rookie corner. Slayton, majority of his like catches have come against Adoree Jackson.
Yeah,
now,
they have.
The two deep ones have been against Deontay Banks, but the majority are going against Adoree Jackson. And,
There was a crosser
and the
earlier.
defense is treating him when you put Adoree Jackson on him, they're treating him like the wide receiver one.
Yeah. There was a crosser earlier in camp that was over Adoree Jackson crossing pattern that I was like, oh, this is like Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen offense stuff. So I'm excited to see how that evolves as the year goes on, and hopefully, like Slayton can be a big part of it. And Slayton's the strength of Darius Slayton is still in like his average depth of target stuff and the way that the offense was ran in 2019. I still think that is the best form of Darius Slayton that we've seen. Big play slay. And last year, and even especially going back to the Garrett days, and even last year's offense where the average depth of target was so small, that's not like the strengths of Darius Slayton. And I think we're finally gonna go back to those 2019 days, hopefully this year.
Isaiah Hodgins, I just want to see more. Today he was targeted, and he had a drop. And it was like a drop where Adoree was like coming up fast, and I don't know if he heard footsteps or what, but did have a drop on a play. I mean, DJ had 3 incompletions today. One was the Hodgins drop, one was a ball deflected at the line of scrimmage, and then one was a ball put behind Waller on a slant. With the Hyatt hype, which by the way, Dable, it seemed like he did not like Hyatt saying he wants to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Hyatt, we didn't see. Where was Hyatt today?
Hyatt was now today was a red zone day, which is very, very important because when did we see Jalen Hyatt struggle the most the first week of camp? Day one of red zone, and then when they kind of opened up the field and he was able to run, deeper and those go routes, that's when you saw Hyatt as kind of taking form. But he was out there, the first team period, second team period, in like this 11 personnel. They were running a little bit of 11 personnel with Waller out there. Waller had his hand in the dirt, and they were 20-yard line and in. Hyatt was out there, just wasn't getting targeted. And
I don't think they even put him in with the first team on the second, because they did, I think, 3 or 4 series. I don't think after that they put him in. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe, even though he's a rookie, maybe they did give him a little lighter day because
he's been running a lot.
He runs a lot.
And we know that they're tracking like how far you run and how fast you run and stuff like that. But he was out there.
Not everyone knows that. They have trackers on them that tracks how much they run.
Yeah,
and throughout a day, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, they've had that for years, but
they actually use it and they implement it.
Yeah. You like what you saw out of John Michael Schmitz today?
Yeah, I thought John Michael Schmitz. Yeah, not Schmitz. Schmitz. There's a C. Schmitz. There's a SCH in there. Yeah. I thought
Doug Analytics said Dale mentioned that Hyatt would have limited snaps today.
Perfect. All right, makes me feel better. But he was out there, and he was not. He was out there for a decent amount of plays. And he did not get targeted. So, and I think that's fine. Like Jalen Hyatt, I'm not envisioning him being a red zone specialist this year. Like this is where Isaiah Hodgins, Cole Beasley, Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard, that's where those guys kind of come in here, route technicians. And it's okay to say that Jalen Hyatt is not that yet. John Michael Schmitz, thought today was his best and most impressive practice. This was the second day of full pads, 1v1s. There was one 1v1 where he went up against Dex, and it didn't look too pretty, but again, you kind of want to, I want to see JMS go against somebody not named Dexter Lawrence, and he did. Lock down Jordan Riley, lock down, some other interior defense lineman, which isn't impressive, but I was watching him in 11v11s, and he was pretty solid. They were running the ball a little bit more. He was moving out in space. There was one play where he just ran over Brandon Bryant. It was a flat out pancake, and they were moving out in space, and it was a run play going to the right side. JMS, I think he's getting more comfortable. He talked about how he my goal every day is to be energetic, to be, to show urgency and to be loud. And I love guys that are loud because that's being urgent and being loud are like 2 of my goals every day.
Speaking of the passing game and JMS, there was another play we forgot. Saquon I noted because it kind of reminded me because someone asked Mike Kafka about Saquon and his comments about wanting to be used more in the receiving game and believing he's part of that. And I was like, man, he hasn't been through 7 practices where it's only checkdowns. If you look at the receptions, he'll be fine. But again,
he's flanked out. They're earlier in camp, they were really flanking him out there a lot more, but everything has just been checkdowns.
Today, he had a wheel route against Darian Beavers, and it would have been a touchdown. It would have been like the best play of the day.
Yeah.
And then Darian Beavers, mother effer,
Whoa,
freaking pulls on his jersey. They call it like the real refs were there and called a defensive pass interference, and that made me like, why? Why do you don't tug? Don't ruin a great camp highlight.
Why?
To like hope a ref doesn't see it. Just don't tug on the jersey. Don't get beat on a wheel route if you don't want to have to tug on a jersey. So that was frustrating because like, man, that would have been a highlight. That would have been it was a beautiful ball. Saquon got open. He stacked Darian Beavers. It was going to be right over the shoulder, and Darian Beavers freaking just
mugged him.
Just pulled on his jersey.
You want a funny ref moment today? I don't know who. I wish I remembered who.
Penik.
Play ends. It was Penik. Do you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about? Jason Penik. Play ends. But offensive player drops the ball. Whatever. Jason Penik throws the ball in the air after the play was over. Official flag in the air, and I'm like, I know this immediately. Everybody's like, well, what's the flag for? What's going on? I'm like, they're about to call and like unsportsmanlike contact penalty on Jason Penik for throwing the ball in the air in practice and just BSing. And you see a bunch of the defensive players be like, really, man? Really? And it's like, hey, well, practice how you play.
Yeah, and they had
Funny
the real
moment.
refs out there today.
They did.
Like, and Dable, this was the first time we heard Dable really getting on people today.
It was first team, second team, third team. The defense had to call timeout when they were running red zone, and Darian Beavers had to go off the field, and Dable was screaming at him. It was Tommy DeVito got the brunt of some stuff today. Seemed like there was some pre-snap confusion, so Dable was pissed today. And the beat reporters talk about that all the time, how he's a psycho. And Dable's presser today was like, I'm never happy out there. It's like, yeah, no shit, man.
Why don't you talk to us about Manscaped? Also, I'm looking at Twitter right now. The 20 people watching on just Twitter Live.
What are you doing?
We gotta watch it on YouTube. Like it's you
got
can
mics.
You can literally usually we just do that for streams. Now that we're at camp, you can literally hear us and see us better. So.
Oh, what are we doing? Today's live stream. Giants training camp recap is brought to you by Manscaped. Oh, look at this. The Weed Whacker 2.0.
Mike Skinner was a weed whacker.
It's true. Mike Skinner, actually, he's your cousin.
My uncle.
Your uncle, excuse me. He uses this all the time. Mike Skinner, notoriously known for having nose hairs.
Mike the Gunslinger Weed Whacker 4.0.
Go ahead, get wet.
Skinner.
That's what it says on the back. So you can use this in the shower. I don't know why you would use a nose hair trimmer in the shower, but you do you. I use this thing all the time because my nose hairs grow like absolute weeds. And this is part of the Platinum Package 4.0 that Manscaped has, where that includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker Ultra Premium Body Wash 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, plus deodorant, and so much more. The Platinum Package 4.0, it covers all the bases from head to toe and hair to ball fro. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code GIANTS. Manscaped is sending us to Giants camp. They're sending us to Detroit next week. And you'll be glad you did. When you use promo code GIANTS, 20% off plus free shipping.
So make sure to buy it for your man, Donna. Also, Bob, you have 2,448 days now. Defensively, so they continue to. I'm surprised how much they're doing this consistently. That they start team period with Adore going into the slot and Trey Hawkins on the outside. I understand that. Like I understand working that formation. What's crazy though is that they just don't want Trey Hawkins taking any second team reps anymore. So Adore keeps on getting a lot of they're just rotating Adore and Hawkins.
Yeah.
To where been like, I don't think you should take any reps away from Banks, but part of me is like, well, for the sake of practice, like Adore's got to get his practice in too. Obviously, I'm not worried about Adore, but it's just I'm just surprised. Like I'm not against it. I'm actually for it, but I am surprised how willing they are. Just like, no, Hawkins, you're not getting any more second team reps anymore. And Adore, we're confident in you. We don't need you to be practicing fully. Like I'm actually down for it because I don't want Adore taking as many chances as he needs to. He's solid. He's 28 years old. He knows what to do. He's going to be a good corner this year. But they are. I mean, Hawkins is only with the first team now. Now Darnay is coming in as the nickel corner, which is 2 days in a row too. Which is like camp battles start to play out here, and they are putting Darnay's gotten 2 days in a row with the first team after being with the third team. And
yeah, we went from, is he going to start getting the Darius Slayton treatment because, he has the little bit of a bigger cap hit, and he was with the third team, not even with the second team. So is he going to start getting the Darius Slayton treatment that Slayton got last year? And it's like, no, the last 2 days he's been running with the ones. Little tease. Now, I don't want Darnay Holmes with the third team. I want Darnay Holmes on the team. I just don't want him starting because it's getting to the point, Bobby, where I talk about the slot corner spot. I don't think you need a stud there. I don't think you need the best player on your defense, the best player on your team in the slot. But, man, if your slot corner is the worst player on your defense, that can tank your defense.
Yeah, and Flott should be the starter there, and Flott had a nice pass breakup today.
Colin Johnson, yeah.
It's just here's why I say the nickel corner position battle is not fun. It's because it's like, yeah, Cordell Flott is playing better. He's not getting cooked. He's getting beat. Darnay's getting cooked.
Right. Cordell Flott isn't winning it. It's just that he's not losing it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually like exactly where we are. Overall defense, and I know we did a little bit of this yesterday, and the only time the defense really makes a play is when they send these blitzes. Which, hey, we did an interview with Morash, like, hey, they're going to send a lot of blitzes, but anytime it's not that, no one's beating the guy in front of them.
Yeah.
And obviously that can change because you're not allowed to kid the quarterback, so Dex could be getting pressure up the middle, and this is a team that will be built off of some four-man pressures. But when they are just running some regular base defense, and I guess part of this is good for Daniel Jones, like he knows what to do when stuff's hitting him. But no one's just making a play on the guy in front of him.
If I wish I counted, but how many nickel corner safety / interior linebacker sacks have there been in camp, and how many those are not the guys that are getting the majority of sacks in the regular season. They're getting like 2 to 3% of your total sacks on the season. It's going to come from the interior defensive linemen and the edge rushers, and though it's tough to evaluate. It's like I'm not even sitting here being like, oh, I'm worried about the edge rushers, I'm worried about the interior. I just want to see more out of them because anytime we do see somebody like, oh, that's a sack, it's a nickel corner safety or interior linebacker, basically.
Yeah.
Or Dex.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. What do you are you getting conspiracy theory about Leonard Williams? Have they had a day off, and then after that day off, Leonard Williams has had two quote unquote rest days in a row?
I'm not there yet.
So I'm not worried about Leonard Williams missing practice and having rest, but it does raise my ooh. Jahad Ward still hasn't practiced in any team period since day 1 or 2. So if he's not out there tomorrow, it's like, okay, this is not rest. He's got something he's dealing with.
I'm not worried about Leonard Williams being durable, and if he does have an injury, he will play through that injury. But clearly, when Leonard Williams is playing through something, this is with anybody, he's not as productive as he is if he's healthy, and I want him to be as healthy as possible so he can be as good as possible.
Yeah, and on that note too, it's good to see Paris Campbell back out there today.
Yes,
because I was worried that him missing a second day in a row. By the way, he doesn't have arthritis; it was freaking tendonitis. The stream, by the way, we have 140 likes with 850 people watching at the moment.
Thank you for watching.
Was there any other defensive notes? If you guys want updates on position battles, Penik is the safety. He's been there for 5 days in a row. John Michael Schmitz has been at center 5 days in a row. Edge is still up. Nickel corner is still up for grabs. Edge after Jahad Ward, O'Shane Zimenez is that guy.
Yeah.
Inside linebacker 2, they continue to alternate, so that's still open. And then the Bredesen Azudu Glowinski thing is still open. I think Aziz had a rest day, so you didn't see anything from him, obviously.
Jeff Smith waived / injured, and the Giants signed
Donovan Jeter.
D. Jeter from
Michigan. Which I found a tweet of 2020 where I was like, I want Donovan Jeter from Michigan just so the Giants have a D. Jeter from Michigan. And now, guess what?
We do.
We got
Ask
him.
and you shall receive, Bobby Skinner.
YouTube mobile makes you close out chat to get the like button. Crappy design. Dang, Lando. We'll close out the chat and then open it back up.
It's one button, bro.
Come on, Lando. We love you, Lando.
One button, bro.
That is annoying on YouTube's part.
It's annoying, but
let's hit some questions. Let's get a couple questions and get out of here.
I think I saw this a little earlier. Like, what do we want to see out of Detroit? What are we expecting from those joint practices?
We still have
I know we have another practice tomorrow, 5 p.m. So it'll be a little bit of a later stream.
I want to see Deontay Banks versus their receivers.
Yeah,
that's huge. And Trey Hawkins. I wanted to see Evan Neal versus Aiden.
You there? Yeah, Evan Neal versus Aiden Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know why I was like, that's not a name, Aiden. And seeing Bredesen and JMS versus not Dexter Lawrence would be a really nice change of pace. So how much weight do you put into the preseason games if a player performs opposite of what they're shown in camp? It depends. Honestly, it depends what player it is.
I was about to say this
because sometimes preseason stuff translates. Like Nick Gates in the preseason, that translated into it. And then you have the 2021 preseason where who were like two guys whose stock was really up that year? O'Shane Zimenez and Will Hernandez, and they both had like god-awful seasons and got every opportunity to not have god-awful seasons, and they did. So it depends on the player. If it's, if it's a rookie, you don't want to like. So if Trey Hawkins gets an interception, that's sick. But I want to see him on what was he doing down in, down out? Because like Corey Ballantyne, I remember like after his, it's like, oh man, he had a great preseason. It's like no, he just had an interception on Davis Webb.
In like the third or the fourth quarter of a preseason game.
Yeah. So it also depends who they're facing up against.
It depends on the expectations that you have from the player too. So if there's a preseason game where a player that we're not talking about right now, like think of a player that can maybe have a good preseason, anywhere. I don't know. Remember Zion Gilbert started a game at slot corner last year. If Zion Gilbert goes out there and has like a good preseason, I'll be like, okay, well maybe I'm keeping my eye out for you a little bit more. It's like shit like that. But if I see Darnay Holmes have a good preseason, I'm not taking much stock into that.
Who had the first sack of preseason last year? 5.
Oh, come on.
4.
Don't do this to
me.
He
has a safety. 3.
Know this.
2.
Yusuf
1.
Corker.
Trenton Thompson, San Diego State.
The other one.
Steelers just claimed him the other day.
The other one. Why do the Steelers like claiming our old
And Lando
players?
did like the stream, Justin, so suck it.
Tay Crowder. Who did they claim Quincy? No, they had Quincy Roche, and then we took it.
And then they brought Quincy Roche back. Quincy Roche is on the Steelers right now.
He is on the Steelers right now?
Remember Tuzar Skipper, who had like a really great preseason, and we claimed him in 2019 when they cut him?
Tuzar Skipper.
He had like one of the best preseasons ever.
Quincy Roche would be the number 3 edge rusher.
Mm-hmm. Tay
Crowder would be the number 3.
Probably the number 4 linebacker.
Number 4?
I think they'd have him after Beavers and McFadden.
I would still take it.
All right, that's a live stream. We'll be back tomorrow. Obviously, it's a 5 o'clock practice, so we'll probably get to you around 8 or so.
You guys think Quincy Roche is Lawrence Taylor?
I do think he'd be the third best edge on this team. So which
would not make him Lawrence Taylor.
Which would not make him Lawrence Taylor, but would make him valuable to this year's New York Giants and last year's. It was funny. I was looking at pressure rates. Or no, his run stop win rate on one of our player profiles, and it was like number 1 in the NFL last year was Quincy Roche because he just had he had 4 snaps and one was fucking huge versus the Jaguars. People forget.
People do forget. Who's taking most of the second team center snaps? We haven't talked about him, but Shane Lemieux.
Yeah, if it's not Bredesen, it's Shane Lemieux.
Yes, good point. If it's not Bredesen, it's Shane Lemieux. Shane Lemieux has not been bad, but he's also not going up against starters, and I'm officially at that point of camp where I'm going back and forth between, is this guy having a good camp? Oh, no, he's going against some bad players.
Yeah, Shane Lemieux's wait till preseason games to get like thoughts on him. All right, that's a live stream. We'll be back tomorrow for another one. Check out the Ryan Dunleavy pod we had out today. Appreciate you guys. Let's go